Hello guys, I'm Samuel Theophilus, an AI engineer, and in today's tutorial I'll be taking you through how to extract data using OpenAI's API. So basically, if you are interested in building AI agents or using LLMs to interact with your application, right, this is a tutorial that you'll be interested in, or this is a solution you'll be interested in. So this is inspired by an article I started working on. So if you can see from my screen, this draft, the extracting data with OpenAI. If you are having text, it means you cannot guarantee consistency of output, and this was a challenge. And then later on, JSON formats were introduced, so you could now structure or have your output returned in JSON formats. But initially, that also had an issue because there was no consistency. So the idea of function calling has tried to fix that by trying to ensure that you can prompt your language model to return outputs in a structured format and maintain consistency each time it's run. It's executed, right? So that's very good. So today will be an introduction to that. Like I said, if you want to read more about what this is, why it's so, you can see, or you should please visit my article or my blog, and then you will get more information about that. So let's go into the details and start proper. So yes, so I have worked on the code lab, and this code is available on GitHub. But I'll be going through this code and try to walk you through how I implemented this extractor. You have HRs who review. So whenever there's a job posting, you have HRs reviewing a lot of CVs, a lot of resumes. This could run into thousands and or hundreds or more, right? So, and you have to, initially this had to be manual. So most times old ATS systems helped to address this issue by taking in extracting skills and various details from the CV or from the application, but this was not very effective. So with LLMs, this has become very it has become possible to truly understand the content of a CV and extract the information. So, but initially, like I mentioned, when ChatGPT was launched and the API was introduced, there was still a struggle with how to maintain consistency. So, how do you extract data or skills from resumes without, and then maybe have them on an Excel or have them in a way that you can be able to analyze them with ease, right? So, and that's where function calling comes in. So, we're going to be implementing a resume parser in this tutorial. So let me just go quickly to the structure of the project so that you understand. So yes, so for this GitHub repository, yes, you will find on the GitHub repository, you will find this in the code lab 1 directory. Yes, and then you will see the readme. You will get all the instructions, the required instructions to run this on your own machine. So yes, then you have so basically you have the data directory, you have the output, and then you have other files as well. So I just want to go over the data. So for data, right, it's if you head over to this repository, this Kaggle repository, you have a data set that has been extracted. So if you look through, trying to tell you all you need to know about the data. So yes, the data has categories, has CVs or resumes of HR job applicants, designers, IT, teachers, business developers, and so much more. So it's a very very good data set to get started with. For simplicity, we will not be using the PDFs. Yeah, so like I said, if you look through this, you will see the PDFs. We're not going to be working with the PDFs. The content of these PDFs have been extracted already into this CSV, and yes, so when you look at the CSV, this is most likely what it looks like. You see the string version, and then you have the corresponding HTML version. So all this has been extracted. We won't be working with the PDF, so I will just go stick strictly to what we want to do. So now, assuming you have been able to extract this into this string, and this is the, like I said, this is the directory, or this is what we'll be working with. So most likely you have scripts. If you want to get advanced or build up on what we have, you can add PDF readers to be able to like extract text from PDFs, and then you can build a complete resume parser. So like I said, this is what we're working. So once we download this, when you download that data, you have this resume lists. This is what, so like I said, this is basically what we have. It's messy, it's a little bit messy, so but this is what you will have at the end of the day. So I'm working with this. So yes, so we have the data. You have seen what the data looks like, and also you have the output. This is where our files will be stored. Then you have the requirements. So for requirements, we'll be using just pandas and OpenAI OpenAI Python libraries in this tutorial. So for this, we're using pandas because we have the CVs will be in CSV form, and we need to extract that. So that's the reason why we're using pandas for this example, and then instead of having PDF libraries or PDF reading libraries, right? So that's why we're using that. Yes, so if you don't have an OpenAI API, I will put a guide for you on how you can achieve that. You need to go to platform.openai.com, and then you log in, and then you get you have access to your keys. Yes, so like I was saying, if you want to install these libraries, you can either install it individually, or of course best practice, you install you run the pip install requirements, which is here, but I won't execute this code because I already have these libraries installed. So having said that, so you just run this. Once you run this, you have access to pandas and OpenAI, which are the libraries you'll be using. So once you have installed all the required libraries, you would it's now time to get into work. So I'll just go over this code so that you understand what is happening here. So first we import OpenAI, which is going to be the library we use to interact with our LLM models, right? So that's OpenAI's library for us to work with GPT. We'll be using GPT 4.0 for this tutorial, and then of course JSON. The reason why we didn't have to install JSON is because once you have Python installed, it's one of the pre-installed libraries. So yes, so you don't need to install JSON for now. And so yes, JSON we use JSON to handle most of our most JSON objects. That's just structured JSON data, right, from the file, both the files and also in the code. And then also we have pandas for CSVs, because you remember we said we are trying to process data from our CSV content, or the strings from all these resumes have been uploaded as rows into this CSV, and we would be working with them. So pandas will just be used to extract that. So yes, so first things first, I am loading data from my file. So I have a secret a config.json file which has my API keys. If you have not, if you have not installed, or if you have not you don't have the API key, you can sign up here, and that's on platform.openai.com, and then you follow. I will share some steps on how to do that. I don't want to get into that here. So yes, so once you have your API key, you now access it. So basically we'll pass that API key to this variable, and that would authenticate us into our account to be able to work with OpenAI. And yes, so the first key important function I want to highlight, talk about, is the extract applicants details function. So basically this function is what calls or runs the code that interact with our LLM. That's OpenAI ChatGPT-4. Like I said, we are working with the GPT-4 model, and then this query, of course. So just look at the basic query. You are a resume parsing assistant. Extract the emails, names, and skills and years from this resume. So initially, this is actually going to, if you run this code normally without this function, you get a response. But the challenge is you have no structure, right? So this was the challenge ChatGPT had at first when the API was launched, because this made it difficult for developers to be able to integrate ChatGPT with API with with applications that required consistency. So because you have a lot of consistency, there are a lot of assumptions made while pulling this, and although it will be able to extract the names, the emails, the skills from each resume, you won't have consistency, and you will have to, like, it will defeat the aim of automation. So the idea of the function call feature helps you to navigate this by not just allowing you to pull data in JSON format, but in structure, to define the consistent structure of that JSON format. This allows you to be able to, with JSON, you can use tools like pandas to transform your JSON into CSVs, and that means you can actually use ChatGPT to be able to, like, have CSVs as outputs, and a lot of other preferred structured formats. So this is the beauty of JSON. So this function call, we have this schema here that tells us how we want the schema, how we want our JSON to be structured. And basically what this means is, so what is saying, okay, so yes, so we are the name of this function is extract, or this yes, it's extract details, and then this we want to be extracting details from this resume. These are very important for intuition, so for the API to be able to understand what you're trying to extract. So of course you specify the type, what are the attributes, and then we have the name. So every JSON that will be created from this will be consistent to have a name tag, a name attribute, and then you have what's the type, you have it's a string, and then you have email, you have it's a string as well. Skills is now an array of what are the items, it's a string as well. So you can see how OpenAI allows you to be able to structure your response. So, and then the experience is a number. So this definition, and then of course you try to specify that these are the required fields or the required attributes. So you must have, for each response, you must have a name, an email, and skills with years as well. So we are going to run this, but just to give you a disclaimer, so because this is publicly available, the data was publicly available, the some personalized or identifiable data has been anonymized. So things like the email and the name are not in these CSVs for privacy reasons, obviously. So you won't, so when we run the code, you will see that is not going to be available in our response. But you see how intelligently the OpenAI also tries to fill in that information while maintaining consistency in our code. So this is just the foundation. You can do a lot more with this if you are trying to build agents. You are interested in building AI agents or automation. This function call is a very important tool, because you can actually write customized functions, Python functions, that you can call within this. So let's say, for instance, you want to be able to send notifications to applicants once you have extracted their email. So for each resume, once you extract the email, you can write a function that takes that email automatically, and then this is after this execution, that function is executed, and then a notification is sent to the email. So basically, so that becomes that intelligence. So this tells you how this is the foundation for agents, for building agents and automating various processes with LLMs. So this feature is very helpful. So yes, so of course at the end of the day, this is how we call our response, and then structure it into JSON so that we're able to process it and save that, store that into an output file. This next function actually takes the path to a CSV file, of course, which is this resume, and you load the CSV, it returns this particular column, because this is the column, this is the column that has the string we are looking for. That's what's relevant for us. And then so every other thing here is just trying and catch, so in case the string does not exist. In this case it does exist, so it's just trying to try to load this particular version so that to be able to process it. So, and then once it's executed, so you can see that this is here we are trying to, this is where we execute it. So once it picks that particular value in this string, we are going to run that, and then have this returned, and once this is returned, we are going to be storing that in the JSON. So this particular function is the function that takes in the array that is processed, and then it dumps it into a JSON, which is we now save it. So we'll be running this code will be available on my GitHub for you to be able to test run. I'm just trying to go through to explain what this is. So let's just run. Yes, so let's just run our parser and see what we get. So once we run this, let me just expand this so we see what is there. So it's taking some time, it's running. So once we execute this, we would, it's taking some time execute. So it's we're like, if you look through this, we are pulling out we're just processing 5 rows. That's 5 resumes. So if you look through this, you can see it's interesting because it's for the first resume, it pulled out the name, the skills. You can see a lot of these skills extracted, and then the total years 15. You can see that the second resume. So we're able to pull. So for all 5, it has been able to do this for all 5, and it has saved this to this folder. So if we go to our output folder, we can pull this, and we would see we have our JSON all structured. You can see very intelligent and very consistent. So you, for each JSON, you have this consistent key. So this makes it possible for you to be able to like run this or integrate this with applications without the fear of having them break. So finally, to talk about how to build or how to work with our or craft your own schema. So if you look at this, so you can, if you want to know more about function calling, go to this particular this documentation, and then you can read more about function calling, which you can see basically function calling allows you to be able to like make calls to external services, and then you can see basically what you do. So in this particular example, it's a function trying to get weather information, and you have the structure of what you want or how you want the information to be displayed, right? So this is an example of its JSON. So let me just quickly show you an example. Let's just go to ChatGPT. I like using ChatGPT to craft my own schema. So let's say I want to let me say, okay, let me give just be quick. Give me a sample of a JSON data. Let me just use this. I want to use this to be able to like extract this. So good. So let's use this, and let's say we want to be able to. So now I'll just take this. Let's say we had a website that had information about books, and we want to be able to create a JSON schema that we can use in code for our use case, or for whatever to be able to extract this data from whether it's a textbook, a PDF, or a website. So I would say, okay, now write the JSON yes, JSON schema to extract books using OpenAI function call. What am I typing? Okay, function call, right? So I want the JSON to be structured in this format. Then you can just give it an example. So I'm just trying to okay, I want, yes, and let me just clean up this. Okay, so let's try to run this and see what we get. Okay, so it's okay. So yeah, so if you look at this, you can see. Okay, so this is the prompt I'm using just to give an idea of how you can craft out schemas or JSON schemas you would be able to, I think you will need some experimenting, because sometimes I've noticed that it doesn't give you the perfect structure you really want, or you can use 100%. So but you might do a little bit of editing. For instance, I doubt this is relevant in this schema. This is not relevant. So and I think if you run this, except there has been an update to this schema, I don't think this is relevant. So but the other structure is relevant. So this is a valid way to craft schemas. This is a valid type: integer, you have string, you have the description for each section. This, you have all these are required, and then okay, you can see this follows the standard for schemas, right? So this is fine. So I'm just not sure about this line. So yes, but this gives you an idea of how you can craft schema. So depending on what you want to extract, you can structure your schema. You can have lists, you can have and there's tuples, you can have a lot of varying data types. So you can go to function, you can look through this documentation to get started, and of course you can further refine how you use this particular feature. So that's it for this tutorial, and see you in the next tutorial. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and also subscribe to the blog, and also try out the code for yourself. Try to clone the repository and also run for yourself. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me via mail or any of my social media platforms as well.